Hey guys, in this video we'll be going over the effects of a tariff. So a tariff is a tax on an import, and the tariff usually raises the prices. So the P-world, so the price of the world, becomes the price of the tariff, which is increased by the amount of the tariff. Now, how does the tariff affect the market? Well, the original price world quantity was here. This was the quantity consumed, but now because the price has risen, all of these people do not want to buy the product, so the new quantity is here. So this is the new quantity consumed. And so this also increases the domestic quantity supplied, which used to be here at the world price because the price was so low, and now is right here because the price has increased. And higher prices equals greater profits. So the quantity supplied domestically, the new one, is right here. So now what does this mean? This means that the domestic market has moved closer to the equilibrium without the free trade. So you can see this because the price is now closer to the equilibrium price than before. And because price rises, the sellers are better off. And because price rises, the buyers are worse off. And this causes dead weight loss. We will go over that in a little bit. Let's calculate the consumer surplus, the CS, the producer surplus, PS, the government revenue, because this is in fact a tax, and the total surplus, which includes government revenue. So consumer surplus, well, it's everything. The original is everything above the world price, so above this line, and below demand. So it's A plus B plus C plus D plus E and F. Everything above equilibrium and below demand. Producer surplus is below equilibrium and above supply, so it's just G. At this moment, there is no tax, so the government does not earn a revenue. So not available, there is no revenue. And the total surplus is just consumer surplus plus producer surplus plus the government revenue. A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. So what happens after the tariff is implemented? Well, now this line is the new equilibrium price. I will change my color. This line is the new equilibrium price. And now the consumer surplus is the new equilibrium and below demand. This triangle. So now it's only A and B. It lost out on all of this because the consumers in this portion are unwilling to buy the products. And now producer surplus, well, that is increased. Below equilibrium and above supply. Now it has C and it has G. C and G. And now let's talk about the government revenue. So this part, this E, would go to the government because it is in fact a tax on imports, which the money in turn goes to the government. So they get E. I will rewrite that. E. And now what is the total surplus? Consumer surplus plus producer surplus plus government revenue. A plus B plus C plus G plus E. From this, you can already tell that, well, total surplus has in fact decreased. Well, because the amount of triangles or polygons have decreased. And so let's talk about the overall change. Well, the consumer surplus has lost out on C, D, E, and F. Okay, and this is reasonable because when the price rises, less consumers are willing to pay for the product. The producers has increased, in fact, by C because of the higher prices. The government's revenue has increased by E. So continuing, what happens to the change in the total surplus? Well, the A, B, C, G, and E are still there, but it has lost out. It has lost out on D and F. So where does the D and F go? Where do these two triangles go? Well, let's talk about the effects of a tax. What happens when there's a tax? There is dead weight loss. Dead weight loss. This means that the gains from trade are not being recognized, so it loses D and F. And why does this happen? Well, there's overproduction because it produces up to here, but it only can consume here. And there's underconsumption because the people, well, they don't want to buy at that high price. These people don't want to buy at the high price. So now there's underconsumption. That is why there's deadweight loss with a tariff, and why free trade increases total surplus and the tariff reduces the overall total surplus.